I'm Michelle Rooklyn is on vacation. The market is digesting a new batch of USDA numbers that many thought would bring some surprises and volatility. And maybe the surprise was there wasn't much change. The agency releasing its 2025 acreage estimates, sticking close to its predictions made back in March, calling for 95.2 million acres of corn. Now that's up 5% from last year, but down just slightly from the March intentions and the average trade guess. For soybeans, it says farmers planted 83.4 million acres, just a small change from March, but down 4% from last year. Wheat at 45.5 million acres, slightly higher than the March intentions and down 1% from last year. USDA also releasing the quarterly grain stocks report on Monday, with corn at 4.64 billion bushels, down 7% from the same time last year. Soybeans at just over 1 billion bushels, up 4%, and wheat at 851 million bushels, that's up 22%. The USDA quarterly stocks and acreage reports are generally the biggest market movers of the year, but turned out to be a non-event. Corn acreage was down just 123,000 acres from the March intentions, as some prevent plant acres in the east and south were offset by more acres getting planted in especially the western corn belt with an early spring.
There's folks in the eastern corn belt, Ohio, down through the Delta, lost some acres. There's no question about it. And so a lot of folks felt like, well, maybe that was going to trump things and pull acres down a little. Our team felt like, with all the folks we talked to, that in northern Illinois, Iowa, into Nebraska, up through both Dakotas, you were looking at a fair amount of additional corn acreage here and there. And so clearly those offset one another.
Bennett says the corn market is actually breathing a sigh of relief, as the economics clearly favored corn.
There were folks out there tossing out some awfully big acreage numbers or just whisper numbers. And certainly, seed sales have shown that.
Soybean acreage was down 157,000 acres from March. No big surprise with the negative margins in fear of China tariffs and a big South American crop. But acreage was down in 25 of the 29 major production states.
This last winter, a lot of folks felt like this bean market, especially with a big Brazilian crop, was going to go to $10 and below and stay there.
Total wheat acreage was only up 40,000 from March at 45.5 million, with cotton acreage above estimates at 10.1 million. Quarterly stocks came in close to expectations for all the grains, but did confirm larger stocks for wheat and not much change for soybeans versus last year. However, corn stocks at 4.64 billion bushels is down over 350 million from last year, confirming strong demand.
What that does is it says, hey, what we all thought was the case as far as disappearance was concerned actually is the case. And so we didn't get any bearish surprises here. Basis and spreads would have tried to tell us, that we would get a bearish surprise.
So this still doesn't jive with how low old crop corn prices are. And Bennett says this number and continued strong exports suggest old crop corn ending stocks at only 1.3 billion bushels. So he hopes the market and the funds will finally recognize it in the July WASD.